So we open on these two guys and, slight spoiler, they're conjoined twins, who are apparently famous. A female friend of theirs, Elegy, shows up with a doctor, and through some exposition we learn that the twins gave up show business.
Robert was never really happy on the road. He couldn't adjust to it as well as James, and after a while he just couldn't take it. They couldn't work together. God knows they couldn't work separately, so they came home.
Naturally, one of the twins, Robert, is crass and jerkish.
Why don't the both of you go back out and soak your heads?
And the other, James, is, well, not so much nice, but he has a little more decorum.
Despite appearances to the contrary, there is at least one person in this room with a proper sense of comportment.
By the way, their last name is Self, which is kind of weird. I feel like they did that just so they could have this title.
Drop dead and rot.
You hear that, Doctor? You know, you probably think we're a sophisticated act, a supper club act.
Obviously, they fight a lot, and Dr. Blackman is here to help with that. Anyway, Elegy finally gets him to agree to talk to the doctor, so it's revealed that they're two heads in one body. No wonder they were never separated.
Well, at last we meet, face to face.
To face.
Also, apparently each brain operates that half of the body, hence the awkward gait.
Which one is in control now?
Neither. They're both working together. It's the only way they ever do anything good.
Though they seem to share taste buds, which doesn't make sense, but whatever, monsters. One of their issues seems to be that Robert always seems to think that everyone prefers James.
Did you hear what Velma just said? Mr. James first.
Anyway, they had been adopted by a millionaire who eventually died and left all of his money to them. Shortly after that, we learn that Elegy is their girlfriend. She was working for the guy who was handling the money.
And I heard them come in, but I didn't look up, and then I did. Well, Elegy, I thought, this is what you get for taking all those drugs in the 60s. But they were real.
You see, this was our first trip to town.
It was our first trip anywhere.
I know it sounds silly to say, but I fell in love with them. And then they both asked me to marry them.
And apparently she was the one who encouraged them to get some kind of job, which ended up being show business.
I told them if they wanted to marry me, they had to somehow make their way in the real world.
I grew up with you guys. I mean, the bunk bed sketch.
I wonder what that was like.
Do you remember our tango sketch?
Anyway, it also turns out that James wrote all of the skits they did, and all Robert can do is, well...
That's what he does. I hate when he does that. I hate that.
So yeah, one can kind of see why James has a bit of an inferiority complex.
Look, it wasn't me that asked for separate agents.
Well, I wasn't the one who asked for separate dressing rooms.
I wasn't the one who demanded separate makeup men.
At the end of the day, it seems that these two would like nothing more than to not have to put up with each other.
I wasn't the one who asked for separate choreographers.
I wasn't the one who asked for separate bathrooms.
Wait, what? Anyway, back to the backstory. They proposed to Elegy again about 6 months ago.
Elegy came in, and James said, marry me. Not us. Him.
Oops, yeah, that's not good.
Did you discuss it with me? Why bother? It's just old go-along Robert.
So, according to the doctor, a big problem is that James doesn't know how to express himself verbally. Not sure I agree with that, but whatever. That's what he says.
I want you to express your feelings toward your brother non-verbally. Act them out.
Oh!
What did he expect?
This is for elementary school.
Apparently that is what he expected, and he thinks it's a good thing.
This is a very good thing they're doing here.
Meanwhile, Elegy has had it.
Until you settled with your own selves, there's no place here for me.
I don't blame her. Dealing with these guys must be exhausting.
I am not going to let you turn my life into a shambles.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it, big shot?
And now they're trying to kill each other. But the nanny steps in.
You got two brains controlling one set of lungs. They got to work together just to breathe.
I'm gonna assume she means that they need to be in sync to breathe properly, otherwise they'd suffocate in their sleep. So the doctor watches them sleep for a minute, which is kind of creepy.
Possible book title. He's not much, but he's all I have. Baby.
But James wakes up and asks a question.
What would happen if one of us should suddenly die?
Well, given our past experience with Siamese twins,
Yeah, I don't know about this doctor. First he encourages them to beat each other up, and then he uses a very dated and racist term for conjoined twins. Anyway, according to James, they basically think about killing each other all the time. But then Robert wakes up and...
Oh, are you talking behind my back?
No, we're talking
Well, really behind your side.
You don't know what it's like to be second best in your own body.
But I mean, you act as if it was all my fault.
Round 2 starts. The doctor finally convinces them to come to Boston with him so he can work with them free of charge.
Free of charge?
But he kind of slips up and doesn't word it the best way.
It'll be good for you. It'll be good for me.
Good for you?
I am convinced that there's a book in this. Probably a bestseller.
He's more two-faced than we are.
Now that is a good line.
Okay, did we really need the cartoony sound effects? Anyway, they now have a common ground, and it's a sudden urge to kill this guy.
You're angry. That's very good. That's very good. You're transferring your anger to a father figure. That's good. Come to Papa. Come to Papa. Ah!
Damn, this doctor isn't too bright.
Oh, that's from you. Oh, what's a million dollar view?
And out the window with him. I guess everything is okay again, except that the nanny is annoyed about the dead body in the yard.
What are the police going to say?
The police will be fine. They don't throw celebrities in jails.
Yeah, only normal people.
And so ends their divided self. This was quite a cute episode. It was mainly about these two interesting characters and their backstory. It's one of those where the actors make it work. This is only the second episode that Wikipedia labels as being, quote, played for laughs rather than horror. I thought the comedy worked well, but I could have done without the cartoony sound effects during the murder scene at the end. That was kind of an odd choice. I'm also not crazy about the implication that a set of conjoined twins is a monster, though they do end up killing a guy, so I guess you could argue that that's where the label comes in. Anyway, it's a fun episode, which I would mostly recommend, but there's only so much to really say about it. James was played by David L. Lander, who is mostly known as Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley, but he's also been in about 100 other things, a lot of which were voice roles. It was directed by Frank De Palma, who also directed 8 episodes of Tales from the Dark Side, along with 7 episodes of Land of the Lost, but not the original, some revived version from 1991 that I barely remember existing. That's about all I have to say about this one, so have another episode.
No, please don't leave me.
So Gary and Susie are dancing partners, but she wants to quit dancing and become an actress.
You said you'd love me forever.
Well, it was 6 months. I was off a little.
This is a pretty heated argument. He is very much not happy with her, especially when he notices that she had packed before telling him about it.
Susie, all I want is for you and I to dance together forever.
Yeah, that's not creepy.
I'll never let you go.
So Susie's agent shows up with a promising role.
Suze, this thing sails, you are a player. But they want feedback tomorrow.
Well, tell him yes.
I guess Gary is her boss and she has to have him let her go or something.
Gary'll never let me go. Not as long as he's alive. I gotta go.
Yeah, that's not suspicious. So she invites Gary for dinner and spikes his drink.
You have your taps on.
You said to come right over.
I hope that little scene this afternoon didn't freak you out. Sometimes my girlish emotions run away with me. Must be that darn estrogen.
Bitches be crazy after all.
I've decided that I don't want to be some lunatic, jealous lover. If you have to go to Hollywood, go.
A little late for that.
You see, it's when I think that you're plotting behind my back, trying to get rid of me. That's when I feel that I could kill you.
Awkward.
What's wrong?
Nothing. This is just what I wanted. And I honestly don't think you'll live to regret it.
They dance together one more time. I love how this is edited so that no actual dance moves were shown and they didn't have to hire a choreographer or anything.
I wouldn't get up just yet, Gary. You still look a little green around the gills.
All I want is for you and I to dance together forever.
I'll be honest, I don't care for Susie, but maybe she really did kind of have to kill this guy. He's kind of scary.
Oops. It's gonna be tough to sell this as natural causes.
I mean, you poisoned him. Were they gonna rule that a natural cause, or did you really not think about that until just now?
Your Honor, he came at me.
So after a couple of fantasies, it shows that she can't act either.
Yes, I killed him. And why not? I'm that kind of woman.
She realizes that she needs to hide the body. So she chops him up with an electric knife and puts him in the trunk. Puns abound.
Let's have a hand for Gary Gregory. Just let me out of that contract cost you an arm and a leg, huh? I always said I'd be a hack actress. But all I really need are some good parts.
So not only can she not dance or act, she isn't funny. At least the twins from the previous episode had a gimmick. Afterward, she calls her agent to tell him that things went bad with Gary.
He was completely torn apart. It was horrible.
Cut to the chase, babe.
Oh my god, with the puns. Anyway, she claims that he tried to attack her, but then ended up leaving and apparently quitting show business.
Don't take this the wrong way, but you really are a lousy actress.
Glad I'm not the only one who thinks so.
Gary Gregory's not going to quit show business. He died first. I guess it was rough, huh?
I never saw a man go to pieces like that.
Fuck off. A little over a year later, sometime after being in her first movie, she complains about losing the Oscar to Meryl Streep.
Your thesping in Graveyard Slasher 3 does not keep Meryl up at night.
Graveyard Slasher 3 was a totally honest portrayal of a contemporary woman's relationship with a zombie.
You spent half of it naked.
Okay, that's the only funny line in this episode, but it is a zinger. Anyway, the agent booked her the same hotel room where she had killed Gary, and we find out that he was never found and the investigation was closed.
Just try to live through the night, and tomorrow I'll get you the finest medium price suite in New York.
So she's been occasionally hearing a tapping sound, but now it's happening more and more often.
Who are you?
Yeah, that leg's not part of a body. Oh, come on.
Please, get away. Please don't. Don't. What am I scared of? It's a leg.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Ow!
Okay, that was kind of funny.
What's done is done. I mean, we gotta go on. We gotta keep living.
I hate this character. Also, how has this leg been there for a year and no one came across it?
What do you want?
Anyway, it wants to dance with her, but that's not possible because it's just a leg. Wait, what? Sometime later, Susie tells her agent that she's not interested in acting anymore,
I realize now how deeply he cared for me.
and she's about to do a show that's a tribute to Gary.
I thought you never wanted to dance again.
I can't help myself.
Except maybe she doesn't want to do it after all.
Please stop me. Don't make me go.
We'll call the theater and I'll cancel it.
No, I have to dance. No, I don't. All I want is to dance together forever.
Wait for it or something. How? Okay, this one beats the legacy for the episode of Monsters I liked the least. At least that one had a good actor in it who did well with what he was given and had the neat gimmick with the monster in the mirror. This one, none of the actors are especially good. None of the characters are interesting. I get where they were going with Susie. She's that kind of sassy, smart-ass character, which I like when done well, but I just found her flat out unlikable and uninteresting. And good lord, the puns. They weren't clever or cute at all. Also, this episode's monster was just a dismembered leg. What the hell were they even thinking with this one? That's about all I have to say about this episode. Easily the worst one so far. The only good thing about it is that the title has a double meaning as it refers to tap dancing and the song played after military funerals, which is called taps, and it's generally evocative of death. It was directed by David Meish, who also directed My Zombie Lover? Huh. He also wrote it along with Larry Charles, who also did writing on Mad About You and Seinfeld. What the hell? How did you guys drop the ball on this one so badly? Oh well. Next up is the match game. See you then.
I can't help it if I was the smartest, if I was the cleverest, if I was the cutest.
The cutest?
Well, okay. Well, you were the cutest.